we're going to focus on the directory there today instead of concrete traceability. You might push that back for a couple of weeks. So the directory way Procore works is it works with unlimited licenses, and I think there was a small bit of confusion with some people. You don't actually need to ask myself or Brian to add something to the directory. Anyone on the project can do it themselves. So there might be a small bit of confusion on that. So I'll just go through the process of it, how it works really. So you have your project tools here. You have your tool here, the directory. So click into it here, you'll see I'm just using a test project for this demonstration. So you'll see you have your list of contacts here, and they're grouped by company. So you're in your project directory. So to add a user to this and to invite them to the project, you come over here to the right hand side to add user. So you click this little taskbar here, and so you just, all it is you're just inputting your details into the box here. So I just write myself here just for an example. So you put in the first name, last name, and it needs an email address as well. So this is your login is the email address. So you just in there. And so here then is you need to give this person a permission template. So the way the permission templates work is once this is set for a person, it gives them permissions to use and view certain tools on Procore. So for example, all Clancy staff are going to be project manager internal. So this means they'll have admin permissions for every tool on the system. And the way it works then as well, you have your different lists of them here. So the same for a subcontractor. If you're adding a subcontractor, there's going to be subcontractor external as their permission template. So again, this will only give them certain permissions. They'll only be able to see certain things, and they won't be able to view, private information and documents and things like that. Same for design team member. You have your permission template for design team. Again, it's preset for their permissions, so they can only see and view certain things. And same with the client. The client project manager external is here. So again, they only have limited access to see certain things on Procore, and they won't have access to see private information. So that's kind of the important thing when you're adding someone to the directory. It's just to make sure the permission template is set correct. So once you have that set, you just press add. So once that's done, it'll bring you into an information. So you have this person's personal information and company information. So just to make sure that the company name is correct, so the person is grouped by the correct company. So if you press this box here, the list of companies on the project will pop up in the drop-down menu here. So if it's not there, then you can create new from here. So you can search for it there. So I just search for Clancy's, select that, and the company information will populate itself then here. So from here then you have your personal information. So you have your name and address. So you scroll down along. Now a lot of these boxes will be irrelevant. You don't need to fill them out. So you might want to fill in the phone number. So if you want to put in the phone number of the person here, you can put it in here. So their job title then as well. And you have your business phone and fax. So there's some of them will be irrelevant, some of them won't be. I suppose maybe the phone number would be maybe one of the most important ones to put in, so it's logged in the company directory. So again, once you scroll down, you see here, this is the permission template that you set in the previous page. So this shows you the permissions that the person has. So you see project manager internal will be all Clancy staff. So they have all admin permissions for everything. And again, if you had this set as subcontractor external on the previous page, it'll show you the certain permissions they have. So a lot of them will only be read only and standard. They won't have admin permissions for anything. It'll be the same for design team external. If that was that set, you see they have no admin permissions. They only have standard permissions and some read only permissions. So once you're happy with the permission template you've set, you scroll down to the bottom and you press save and send notifications. So what this does, it sends an email directly to the person asking them to log in, to tell them that they've been invited to the project, so they can log in and interact with the system. So you see there, updated user, and that person being added to the directory here. So that's how you add a person to the directory. What you need to do then as well, you need to add a list of companies. So you need to have your companies on the directory for the likes of your site diary. And if you're carrying out checklists to assign it to a certain company. So again, it's the same principle here. Instead of add user, you just click add company. And again, you're just filling out your information box here. So you're given the company name. I just put in example just for the sake of this. And again, you're just putting in the phone number if it's assigned to a certain person. Again, if you need to, a lot of these boxes will be irrelevant, the likes of if the fax and address. They're not mandatory boxes. So once the name is in, you'll be able to proceed then. So all you do is you press create, and that's it, done there. Brings into the contact information, and again, you can put in the information here of the company. So if there's an email address, again, you can put in a phone number associated with the company. And again, you have a lot of these information boxes that a lot of them will be irrelevant. So you just come down here along and press save, and that's that company added to the directory then. So when you're filling out your site diary, they'll all be preset on a list, and they'll be on the log ready to go. So that's basically adding a company, and you add your user to the directory. And again, once you click into the directory homepage, you'll see a list of them here. So you'll see their group by company, and the user is underneath. So you see their name and email address there again. So it's easy to do. And again, you have your taskbars up here at the top. So if you want to look at a certain company, you can go into the company. Your list of companies are there. And again, it'll be on users automatically there. So you see all your users on the project here. So that's basically it. If you have any questions, fire them away. We'll answer.
Yeah, Colin, well done there. Yeah, that's a good presentation. I'd just like to add to the fact that directory is one of the most important tools on Procore. It drives all the rest of the tools. So if you want to invite people to minutes of meeting, if you want to assign RFIs, if you want to assign submittals, if you want to email drawings within the application, all the tools that are on Procore, the person or people that you want to involve in that process needs to be set up in the directory. And if they're not set up in the directory, you can't do them things. So directory is vitally important, and that you get as many people on it as possible. And you can invite people to this, and they might never log into Procore either. And that's fine, but they'll still get the automatic email in terms of relations to RFIs and drawings and submittals, which is important. So it's a very important tool, directory, and and it's a reasonably simple process to add a user or company. And that's all I have to add now, really.
Brian and Colin, so some of our vendors are still, especially the smaller ones, are still on Gmail type accounts. Are there, you can still put them in, can you?
You can, yeah.
Okay, good.
So go ahead, sorry.
All right, Colin and Brian, just a question. Who's typically populating the directories so far, or who have you found that are doing them mainly?
Well, it should be a role. It should be in the roles and responsibilities. And again, ourselves and Eamon had a meeting about it this morning, and it needs to be part of the roles and responsibility. Typically, at the moment, I would say the junior site manager is probably doing the majority adding to directory. Maybe Colin, you probably have more interface with that.
Yeah, I'd probably say mainly site managers, junior site managers are kind of looking after it mainly.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, just wondering.
Yeah. One thing, Declan, I suppose we're looking at is we already have a directory form, which is an Excel sheet, and there's a bit of duplication here between Excel sheet and project directory, and maybe it's just something again we discussed with Eamon today at a separate meeting about migrating that form on the QMS to use Procore as the main directory.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. Yeah, the more we can get onto this, the better. We've spoken about that anyway. Yeah.
Can I ask a question now, lads? Brian, just because it was actually going around my head about that Excel directory. I suppose what I normally do is when a job is started, like the first bit of direction in the Excel document, I set it up, like say the design team and all that, and then on the roles and responsibilities, it's handed over then to the QS, who as the subcontractors have been appointed, add in the names and emails of all the subcontractors being appointed. So look, my take is it should be just, as you say, get rid of the Excel document and bring it straight over to this and follow that same procedure. That's my opinion, my take on it. But just, I'm doing the BCAN O&M here for South Infirmary, and like one thing that seems to always goes into the O&M and BCAR is actually a directory, albeit it's say an Excel format with the list of all the subcontractors, like a contact list. Is it easy to export? Like if you've created your directory for all your subcontractors on the Procore, is it easy to take that off then and put it back onto an Excel document that you're putting into as part of the O&M manual? Or
there's an export button there in front of you.
Yeah.
Do that.
There's an export button here, yeah, so you can export it as a CSV or PDF.
So CSV is Excel, so yeah.
But can you select, I suppose, what you want to export? Because like when you're creating the document at the end of the job, it's only the subcontractors that you're putting on it that, you know, to say maintenance can go back to IFES electrical, for example. Like you don't need everything on the directory.
Yeah, no, you can be selective. You can be selective. Yeah, it's customizable that way. And just on the permission templates as well, they're kind of just standard permission templates that we've set up for. Just generally, they can be customized. So if there's a tool in there that you don't want an external stakeholder to see, but it's not on the standard permission templates that we have set there, it can by all means be customized to what you want. So like there might be, you probably see there are permission templates for dockets, and that's set up primarily for Mary Den, so that when she goes on to look at the dockets, the only thing she sees is the site diary. She's not muddled or confused by the 8 or 9 other application tools that are within Procore. So she can just go straight into the site diary and the docket section, and she's able to pull them down from there. So that is a customizable feature of that tool. Okay, is there anything else, or we happy to conclude on that?
Brian, just a quick one there from myself here.
Sure.
Do you know when you're adding in you're adding in a user that might be say from a subcontractor, he might be the supervisor on the ground, might not necessarily have an email attached to him, but you'd like him to be available, say, to sign off checklists. I know that I discussed this before with Colin. It was great help just to kind of get over the email side of things. But is the way forward when you're, say, adding in let's just say a partition supervisor who's not operating on emails, is it just to add in, you know, kind of a made up email to override that?
Yeah. What we done, like every subcontractor will have a contact anyway. It might be info at certain company. So that's one way of doing it. So he mightn't. The fortunate thing about that, he mightn't directly get an email to say, you know, that there's an action against him. So it is. It's not great when he doesn't have an email that they can use, because they won't be able to avail of the notification features that you get in terms of an email notification. So yeah, that is one way of going around it. Kind of use a makey up kind of email, like we've done it with, let's say the crane drivers down in Bandon Road. We created a Gmail account for them. It was like machine drivers or crane drivers at Bandon Road at gmail.com. But they don't necessarily need to see all the email notifications, so they were happy enough just to have a login, and their own email wasn't getting spammed by Procore, so they were just able to go in and use the form tools, sign off their GA3s, etc. So that's kind of one way to approach it. Is that going to answer your question, Larkin, or confuse you a bit more?
Yeah, just on some of the companies would have an info at Park West, say. Usually that would be maybe they go to the contracts manager, but then their supervisor on site. If you put in the same email info, it still reverts you back to the contracts manager. Doesn't allow you to
No, I understand. Yeah. So in that case, it's unfortunately you would have to create an email for them that kind of goes into the main principle. It does need an email address for them to be added to the directory. We can't get around that. So,
okay.
So
no
yeah, that's just the way it is. I'm afraid at the moment. Yeah.
No bother. No, that's grand. Thanks, Brian. Colin.
Okay. I don't have anything else to add. If anyone else has, so we'll leave it at that then. We'll see you in 2 weeks, hopefully.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks, Colin.
That's great. Thanks very much, Brian. Colin.
Thanks, lads.
Thanks,
Thanks,